Does a claimant, when they get this request to do a field interview, do they have to do it?
You know, it really depends on the policy language. If it says in the policy that they're required to submit to a field interview or submit to an independent medical examination, I think then obviously they have to do it. But if it doesn't, I think it's really a gray area. I think in the abundance of caution, and it would always be prudent to go ahead and participate in the field interview, because as I tell my clients, listen, you have a legitimate claim, you're telling the truth, you don't have anything to hide. Sit down with them and tell them what's going on with you.
So, I mean, in most cases you'd recommend to your clients to do it. Would you ever have your client do it without representation?
No. If it's my client, I would never have them submit to a field interview without having me present.
Okay. Well, obviously with our clients we would always be there, but
Right.
I mean, what's the advantage to a person having an attorney present for a field interview?
Well, as we were discussing earlier, these interviews are made to elicit certain statements from you. They're there. It's almost like, in some instances, like a deposition. You're obviously not there making objections or making a record, but what you're telling them can be used against you. And it's important that you have a lawyer there representing your interest, understanding what that process is going to be about, and also there for the consistency of what they're going to say your statements are later on, and what they're going to put into their claim file and in their record. It's going to be important because they may put something in there that's completely different from what you said or you thought you said, and your attorney's there taking notes. They're there advising you. If you need to take a break and you need to talk to your lawyer, they're there to do that.
Right. Two other things. I always find, number one, that the preparation of the claimant for the field interview is essential. And in order to do that, especially from our perspective, we have to have the complete claim file, not the claim file, but all the correspondence sent back and forth between the carrier and the claimant. We have to have a copy of all the medical records of the claimant so we can see if the doctors are documenting restrictions and limitations that are consistent with what the claimant is saying he or she can't do. We have to see the financial records to see if the financials are consistent with what the claimant's telling the disability company, the amount of money that they were earning. So I find the preparation is extremely important for those field interviews. And I also find that whenever I'm at field interviews, I'm always interjecting comments to clarify something that I think could immediately be a red flag, or something that the field interview person is honing in on to try to shape the claim towards a certain area that myself especially, knowing the definition of disability in the policy, knowing certain limitations or things that could jeopardize benefits, I'm going to tell that claim person right there, and make sure, or field person, make sure that they have that written down so that it's clear to the company that this is our position and not what you're trying to make it be.
Exactly, and I experienced it today. But before going touching in on one of the things you said in preparing for the field interview, having an idea of the financials, all the medical records, that goes back in the cases and the claims that we're able to assist on the application. We've had that, because the field interview a lot of times comes before benefits have been approved. There's been a decision, so even the good thing about having an attorney early on is that they've reviewed everything, and you can start to see where there might be red flags. And like you said, in it, the field interviewer, today I had it, they started going into policy language, trying to define what material and substantial meant with it, and they're trying to elicit information from the client as to what he thinks.
And the claimants have no idea.
They have no idea what what it means. It's
Right.
realistically, it's legalese for the most part. So it's a matter of really making sure you don't get pigeonholed.
Right. Oftentimes, they haven't seen their policy since the day they purchased it. And then they're being asked, well, what do you think this means, or what's this mean to you? And it's just another way for the carrier to use a statement that you make against you, and you could say, oh, well, yeah, I think that maybe you're right. Maybe I am partially disabled when I read this definition, but in reality, maybe you're not. Maybe in reality you're totally disabled because you can't do those essential duties that are your bread and butter.
Well, I want to thank you for watching this video today regarding field interviews. If you have any questions or concerns regarding the handling of your claim, or any upcoming field interviews or a past field interview that you may have given, please feel free to contact us regarding your claim. We can be reached at 1-800-828 7583. You can always find updated daily information on our website about long-term disability insurance claims at diattorney.com. My name is Greg Dell. It's attorney Stephen Jessup and Cesar Gavidia, and we look forward to talking with you in the future.